Coin Op.
Hey there, YouTube coin community. It's Dustin with Coin Op, and today we are going to finish up my series on Kennedy half-dollar varieties. So this time we are going to take a look at the more modern Kennedy half-dollar varieties that you can find while coin searching. So let's dive right on in. So for this one, we are finishing up our half-dollar variety video series. So we are going to scroll down to the bottom where it says half dollars. We're going to go to Kennedy half dollar 1964 date. And then we are also going to be using Variety Vista, great resource website. And if you scroll down to their free online ebooks and go to Kennedy halves, that's where we're going to be at. So for this, we have already looked at the 1964s, the 90% silver. We've already looked at the silver clad. And now we are going to move on to the more modern copper nickel-clad ones. And there are some varieties for us to look for that PCGS does list. So we are going to start this one off by taking a look at the 1971D. Now for 1971D, there are two double dies that PCGS lists. There's the FS101 and the FS102. We're going to start this off by taking a look at the FS101. If we come over here to the Kennedy half-dollar die variety book in Variety Vista, scroll down to double die listings, go down to 1971D, there we are. And there's the FS101, over here's the FS102. Now if you look, there are a lot of different double dies that you can look for on this. Some of them are really strong. This one's beautiful. So Variety Vista lists 17 different double dies just for this year alone. We're going to take a look at the FS101. Now this is the one that PCGS has listed. If you're taking a look at this one, you can see splits up on Liberty. I like the way the E is on Liberty. See it right there on the T. But it's going to be strongest down on In God We Trust. If you look, you can see it. Splits and line separation. It's a nice strong double die. And you can definitely see it down on the date. You can see it right there on the 7. See it right there on the 1. There on the 1, there on the 1. See it right on the bottom tail of the 9. Now if you do happen to find one of these, the FS101 uncirculated examples, they start at around $40. And they trade upwards of $475. Now we're going to take a look at the FS102. Now this one should be stronger than the first one we just looked at. If you're taking a look at that L, you can see a nice split right there on the L. Same with the I. The letters are much thicker than they're supposed to be. There's split serifs. There's line separation. And then if you're looking at In God We Trust, you can definitely see the splits and separation, especially on In. Taking a look down at the date, you can see it on the 7. The 9 is about twice as thick as it's supposed to be. You can see them up on the 1. Now if you do happen to find one of these ones, uncirculated examples, they start out at around $38 to $40, and they trade upwards of $850. Next, we're going to take a look at the 1972 double die adverse listed as FS101. We're going to come right here to 1972. Now, just so you know, anywhere that you see it in blue, those are all ones that they have varieties listed for. If it's in purple, that's because I've already clicked on it. But all of these that are in blue, these are all ones that have double dies that you can search for. So I strongly suggest coming over here. I'm only showing you a very, very tiny bit of what is listed. We're going to take a look at 1972, and the only one that they have listed is the FS101. This is a nice, stronger one. On this one, you can see it up here in Liberty, bottom of all of the letters. But it's going to be real strong on In God We Trust. So pay attention to the words In God We Trust. You can see nice clear splits and line separation. You can clearly see the doubling in it. You can also see it down in the date. It's nowhere near as strong as up in God We Trust. So again, I strongly just look at In God We Trust. If you see this nice line separation and splits, you're on the money. Now that 1972 double die adverse listed as FS101. Uncirculated examples. Ooh. Well, they start out at about $100 and they trade for about $850. But circulated examples, they have values listed for them. Circulated examples, they trade for around $25 and upwards of about $50. Definitely worth your time to go looking for. Okay, next we're going to move on to the 1972D, no FG. We're just going to click right on this one, because the easiest way to look at this is just going to be to look at the example that PCGS has. If you are paying attention to this one, the designer's initials, that'll load, there you go. The designer's initials should be right here underneath the eagle's wing. Well, what happened is they over-polished the die and they polished away the designer's initials in between strikes. So some examples were struck with no designer's initials. So here they have this nice little example here. That's what the initials should look like. And here's what this one looks like. Nothing there. It should have something there. You know what? Let's just click on the image. It should have the designer's initials right underneath the I guess it would be his left leg on the right side, above the tail feathers. But on these ones, it was over-polished and gone. Kind of like your 3.5 leg buffalo nickel. That was also over-polishing. But this was over-polished and taken away, so no designer's initials. There you go. Now, if you do happen to find one of these ones, PCGS only has one value listed, because I think they only have one graded example, and that was an MS65 example, and that one is valued at $3,000. So a 1972D no FG could potentially be worth upwards of around $3,000 if you were to find one. That is amazing. All right, we're going to move on to the 1973D double die obverse. This one is listed as FS101. So we're going to go over here to 1973D. And right there we go. And FS101 is the one that we're going to take a look at. But again, there are a bunch of different double dies that you can look for this year. This is a strong one. You can see it all over the coin. It's nice line separation up on the L, the I, the B. You can clearly see it on the T and the R. Not as strong on the E there. You can see it on the Y. Now, In God We Trust, you can see splits down at the bottom. You can see some line separation inside of it. Now, Trust itself is where it's really, really strong. If you take a look at that S, the T, and that U, it's clear as day. And this is a good one on the date. I love seeing this one on the date. I have seen some of these before. I almost bought one of these, but I'd like to find one on my own. But if you're taking a look at the date, you can see some nice line separation on it, especially on the 3. Love to see that split right there on the top. Same with the 7. Now, if you do happen to find the 1973D double die obverse, circulated examples, they trade for a couple bucks, upwards of about $35. While uncirculated examples, they start out at around $37 and they trade upwards of $675. Next, we are going to move on to the 1974D double die obverse. So we're going to come right down here to 74D. Now, this is the only one that Variety Vista has listed, but this is, again, a nice, strong double die. When you come across this one, you are definitely going to know. If you have a nice uncirculated example, you're not going to even need a jeweler's loupe to see it. It has very nice, strong doubling with a good, strong spread. If you can't tell by the E, the T, and the B, it is a nice, strong spread. When you are taking a look down at In God We Trust, the word trust is where it is, in my opinion, the absolute strongest. You can see a very, very nice spread on this one. This is a beautiful double die. This is one that I definitely would like in my collection. It is very strong on the date. I mean, take a look at that 4. That is just so cool. It's a really, really cool double die. I really, really like this one. Now, if you were to find the 1974D circulated examples, they start out around 20 bucks, go upwards of around $30, while uncirculated examples, they start out at around $30 or 35 bucks, and they trade upwards of $1,250. That's some nice money. Now we're going to move on to the 1977D double die averse, listed as FS101. So again, we're going to back out of there. We're going to come down here to 1977D. And right there's the FS101. Now there's 2 different double dies listed for this one. I do believe this one over here is a very minor double die, but I do strongly suggest coming over and taking a look at it. Now this one should be got a nice medium spread. You can see it on the I of Liberty. You can see splits on the tips of the L, a little bit on the B. You can see some line separation and splits on the T. Now, if you're looking at In God We Trust, this is about twice as thick as it's supposed to be. So very heavy thickness on In. Now, on the word God, you can see some splits, but again, it's very heavy. It's thick. It's much thicker than it's supposed to be. If you look at the word We, you can see some splits, some line separation, but again, it's round, it's bulbous, it's much bigger than it should be. Same with the word Trust. You can see the splits. And then down on the date, though, you can see nice line separation. You can see splits on the 7s, but the 9 and the 1, you can really see it at. Now, if you do happen to find one of these 1977D double die adverses, listed as FS101, looks like circulated examples start out at a few bucks, go up to around 50, 60 bucks, while uncirculated examples, they start out at around $100, and they can trade upwards of around $700. Now we are going to take a look at one last one that I wanted to show you. This is the 1982 P. This is a Philadelphia mint. It does have the P on it. And this is another no FG. So we're going to click on this one, take a good look at it. So this is, again, one where the designer's initials are missing. So if you are taking a look at the reverse of this one, right underneath the, I guess it's the left leg on the right-hand side of the coin above the tail feathers, right inside there, there should be the designer's initials, but they are not there. It should have a nice big FG, but it is missing. Again, what had happened was they accidentally over-polished the die. What they'll do is when they're using the die to extend the working life of it, they will take it and they will polish up the surfaces and then continue to use it. Well, every now and then they will over-polish it and they will polish away design elements, and that is what happened here. If you were to happen to find a 1982 P Kennedy half dollar with no designer's initials, it looks like they start out at around 20 bucks and they can trade all the way up to $3,500 for a very nice high-grade uncirculated example. So there you go. There is a nice series on some Kennedy half dollars that you can find while you are coin searching some beautiful varieties. Now, I do suggest coming over here to Variety Vista or DoubleDie.com or any whatever reference website you would use to look up your half dollars. If they list varieties, well, go take a look because there's just lots of them. I mean, all of these that are in blue are ones we didn't even look at, and each of these have double dies, whether they're in the proof coins or business strikes. There are double dies for them. There are repunched mint marks for a lot of these. If we come down here to RPMs, all of these in blue have repunched mint marks that are known, that are out there. Some of them are very strong and beautiful. I'm only showing you in these videos just the most popular and most valuable ones. So there's a lot to look for in these series. And I do suggest getting out your Kennedy half dollars, especially If you collect silver and you have been stacking your 90% and your 40%, get out your 90% Kennedy half dollars. Look for those beautiful 1964 varieties, some of those double dies, triple dies, quadruple dies, and then also on your silver clad. There's lots of varieties on them. Get them out, take a look. You might have extra money sitting there that you didn't even realize. So there you go. All right, everybody, just a heads up. The 37th Annual Greater Cincinnati Numismatic Exposition will be held Friday, July 17th and Saturday, July 18th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, they are running an early bird special Thursday, July 16th from 3 to 7 for $40. It's an excellent price. Now, that is at the Sharonville Convention Center, so if you'd like to meet CoinOp, you want to go out to a coin show, this would be an excellent opportunity. We will be there. Robert Lawson, Florida, myself, we will be out there. So make your reservations now. Start booking Friday, July 17th and Saturday, July 18th, the 37th Annual Greater Cincinnati Numismatic Exposition. Well, everyone, we definitely hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click on that thumbs up button. If you're not yet subscribed to our channel, click on that subscribe button. And while you are at it, click on the notification bell. That way you get notified immediately when we upload new content. Well, everyone, until next time, have fun.